Hello and welcome to another Imperator Invictus Dev Diary, and this one's a pretty chunky one because if you watched my last video on this mod, you'll know that there was a vote about the what to do with heavy infantry, and as you can see from the title here, the Spearman is in it. So potentially that means that the vote was pretty conclusive, and yeah, there's a lot in this. But anyway, to start with, we've got to talk about Varsha. So, salvete! Today we're talking about Varsha, some more Anatolian heritages, and a preview of the unit rework as voted on last time. So, this is from Demenative. He's here with more Indian content and missions. Varsha is in Imperator, represents a unified Indian state. Its name comes from the legendary king Bharata, who in the epic poem of the Mahabharata subjugated the world with his unparalleled might. This was the only time India was said to be united until modern times. Many things have changed to make uniting India a fun experience, which is good because in the base game in vanilla, India is my least favourite place to play. I would honestly much rather play in Scandinavia. India is not very fun, in my opinion. So any changes that can go into making India a more rewarding place to play is 100% the right direction to go. I don't think there's a wrong direction here. Like it's pretty rock bottom as far as like my interest in playing in the region. So any change is going to improve that, I would imagine. To start off with, Varsha now has a new map color and flag. So we have the kind of limey green and nice little flag there. It's pretty nice. I think Varsha was kind of the same color as Marian's, maybe a little bit more yellowy. And I don't recall what their flag was. But yeah, I'm happy with that. That seems reasonable. It honestly looks like a vanilla flag as well. Like they're not pushing the boat out too far here with that one. So yeah, it fits. It's also got a new mission tree, which is inspired by and similar to the Hellenistic Empire missions. Interesting. Does that mean you're going to be able to get a unified Indian culture? Maybe, because that's what the end goal of the Hellenistic Empire mission is to have Hellenic as your primary culture, and then everyone get all of the other Hellenic cultures to integrate into Hellenic. It's broken as shit and barely functional, but it is a thing that you can do. Don't recommend doing it, not without mods to fix it, but it's possible to do it. But yeah, Indian Empire, Treasures of India, Bharat, all that kind of good stuff. The first few tasks will have you build and own and build a metropolis for each of the three major Indian culture groups: Aryan, Dravidian, and Prakian. Once your rule over India has been solidified and you've gained enough power, you'll be able to change to a new unique government type. Political reform comes at a cost, though, and this task will plunge your nation into a deadly civil war. So, like Hellenistic Empire, you have to have a civil war about it. That's reasonable. There are many other tasks in the tree after establishing the new government. Some of these include patronizing the trade of exotic goods, gaining the blood of Bharata bloodline, building great wonders all over India, and gathering the many treasures of India. More on this in a bit. Nice, and a bit of... it's also quite nice that it's being like highlighted what you're going into. It is something that I did mention in a previous video, that it's like, oh, this mission tree has certain missions that will get you to do this, and this. And then they just show the entire mission tree. And it's like, okay, so which ones exactly are we talking about here? But you know, now they seem to have listened to that little critique, and we have got some highlighting going on. In this regard, it may not have been entirely necessary, considering conquest options, conquer, and then there's two that aren't. But, you know, there's a lot of conquer in here, let's be honest. But yeah, very nice. Also, Redneck Sailor, which is Alexander backwards, is the name of an achievement in Imperator Rome as an Indian nation that isn't Maurya. You need to conquer Alexandria, Macedon, Babylon, And there's probably a couple of other, like maybe Persepolis or something like that as well. It's relatively easy because you can do it as Maria. You just need to form Bharat Varsha first. But obviously, with Invictus, you're not going to get achievements anyway, so that's kind of beside the point. Alexander once did, Bharat Varsha will emulate his conquests of the known world. Conquer the regions that Alexander the Great once brought under his rule, and as you do so, each region you conquer will be presented with an option. Establish Indian client states or Indian colonies. Indian client states give and have the following unique bonuses. So they get Indian client heritage, provincial loyalty, the manpower goes up a bit slower, civilization goes up. That's alright, that's not too bad. And then if you have these Indian clients, Kalinga is the boss here. So Parthia will pay them. They join in wars. They can be integrated. Parthia only exports to them. And Kalinga gets plus 2.5 commerce income. How many of these can you get as well is the thing. I believe it also takes a diplomacy slot, because otherwise it would say does not take a diplomacy slot. So yeah, getting the commerce income as a modifier is like one of the strongest, if not the strongest, individual modifiers in the game. So anything that you can if these colonies or these client states, I guess, were free. And didn't take Diplo slots, this would be so abusable. Anytime you can stack these modifiers, it can be so abusable. But yeah, if it's taking Diplo slots, then that's not an issue. And then Parthia gets more pop growth, pop conversion speed, and levy size multipliers. Indian colonies will be able to pick a specialization for each one established. They can specialize in military, trade, religion, or civic development. Each type of colony will fire different events that can be either good or bad. Okay. Alright, that works. I'm not sure why the clients can't choose that. It seems, well, I mean, I guess it's just, do you want to have a client who's just a bit like just like a regular vassal, or do you want a colony where you're going to specialize? Yeah, okay, I'm okay with that then. So, treasures. Many Hindu and Buddhist treasures have been added all over India. There are currently 21 new treasures with more in the works. 2 decisions have been made that are similar to the vanilla description for Anthologia Philosophicae, which has the player collect many different treasures from all over the Greek world. One of the decisions is only available to Hindu nations and will have them collect many great Hindu works. The other decision is only available for Buddhists and works in a similar fashion. Lovely. Monsoons have historically been very impactful for Indian civilizations. To represent this importance in game, a system has been made to simulate the effects and unpredictable nature of monsoon season in India. Each year from June to September, monsoon season will come in India and apply regional modifiers. These modifiers are applied to 5 different regions: Northwest India, Northeast India, Central India, South India, and the Himalayas. These modifiers can be one of the following 5 things: good, really good, bad, really bad, or catastrophic. Good modifiers will give bonuses to food production and population output, while bad modifiers will decrease food production, population output, and supply limit. Something I was thinking of when reading this is, would it be possible to, when you have a monsoon, say when this fires there's a monsoon in... I really don't even know the names of provinces in India. Bengal Delta, whatever. Let's pretend that's a province. I don't even know if it is. Pandya. There we go. Pandya in the south. All right. There's a monsoon in Pandya. Would it be possible to have the game fire the graphics for when you have a storm, right? Because on the ocean, there are storms, and there's clouds and rain and probably lightning as well, and it looks pretty cool. You don't want to sail your fleet through it. I wonder if it would be able to fire that graphic or that animation or whatever you want to call it over the land in the province that is being monsooned on. That would be really cool. I have no idea if it's possible, but maybe something that they can look into. So, there are more Anatolian heritages we saw before there was a lot of Anatolian heritages, and every single one of the tiny little states in Anatolia were going to get their own heritage. I don't know if that's something I particularly am too bothered by. A lot of them, like, I will play this Anatolian minor because I prefer its flag and color. There's not a whole lot else to differentiate between them. I guess now there is with the heritages, but then you're coming under the risk of, I will play this one because this heritage is better, but I prefer that guy's flag and color, and now I'm sad. Whatever. But yeah, anyway, there is some more Anatolian heritages. Because we could not, due to length, show all the Anatolian heritages promised in the Scythian Dev Diary, here are more to show you that when we said meant all, we meant absolutely all of them. Yeah. An important and sad note, however, 4 of the nations Paradox created in the southern mess of Anatolia have no outstanding information beyond the acknowledgement of their existence, or not even that. Because to try our best to be historically accurate, or at most historically plausible, with the content we add to the game, we did not want to completely make up a narrative for the city-state nations, Lalasia, Oroandia, Ambladia, and Taimandia. Yet there's always a chance we miss something during our research process. If you have information or sources about these places, let us know and we'll look into it and incorporate it into the more unique heritages. Lovely. So, here are some more heritages and a select few notes regarding changes we considered with each nation. So, we have Heritage of the Blind for Chalcedon, or Chalcedon. Is that different? Is that a separate nation? Because Chalcedon is in the north. It's the green nation right next to Bithynia. They have just the one little territory, like across the water from Byzantium. If that is Chalcedon, either I'm spelling it wrong always, or these guys have spelled it wrong, or it's a completely different nation. But we have Shrine Build cost -15%, Commerce Income plus 10%, and Diplo slots -1. That's a really good heritage. I would play that. A Megaran colony founded in that time. The founders must have been both cursed by the gods to be so blind as to not found their colony on the far superior other side of the Bosphorus Strait, where Byzantium was built. Yeah, okay, so it's... I'm going to have to look this up. I'm pretty sure it's Chalcedon. Chalcedon. It might... You know what? I don't care. Whatever. So, yeah, they must have been blind to not found the colony on the other side. So was it was Chalcedon? Was that founded before Byzantium? Also, is the other side superior? The other side is forest, and this is farmland as far as I remember. Both Greeks and Persian Megabuzus said much of them, yet the city experienced a wealth of trade and built many temples to the gods. Blind luck. Yeah, I'm not 100% on that one. I like this. I'm just not sold on the description that was given, to be honest. We have Astaken Heritage, which is Astakos, which is on the coastline between Chalcedon. It's on the Anatolian side, on that coastline in where the little Bosphorus Strait is. So they get found city cost -20%, which is lovely. Civic tech investment plus 7.5, which is lovely. Army morale -5. It's now never taking this country. Straight up. As soon as you put morale in here, I don't play it. It's the same problem with Byzantium in vanilla. Byzantium had just Heritage of the Greeks, which wasn't great, right? It was assimilation speed goes a bit slower with the Heritage of the Greeks, or Hellenistic Heritage, or whatever it's called. And then they changed it for Byzantium to have its own heritage, which included, I think, -10% morale. Congratulations, you've now made this country unplayable. It will never be played again. Do not add army morale in a heritage. Straight up. It's not difficult. Just don't bloody do it. You ruin the country. You ruin it as a place to play. Especially early game when you're wanting to expand. Army morale is like your most important stat for conquest. Because if you think about Astakos, it's pretty small. It might want to expand into the other pretty small nations next to it, maybe during the Antigonids' collapse. You'll probably not have a bigger army than them, so it's going to be equal-sized armies, and even if you have an advantage with your commander, depending on how large it is, of course, they'll have more morale than you, and you will lose. It's terrible. Just don't do it. This is fucking useless now. So, yeah, I recommend highly that you change this, Invictus. It was a Megaran colony established in the 8th century BCE, also supposedly founded by the legendary Astakos, son of Poseidon, and the nymph Olbia. The city's greatest legacy would be in its destruction by the Bithynian king Zippoetes in 301 BCE, and the founding of a new city in its place, Nicomedia, future Eastern Roman capital under Diocletian, named after Nicomedes I, Zippoetes' son. I mean, you're going pretty far in the future to talk about this place. This was in what's the date? 1204 is when this thing happened. So I mean, yeah, it's kind of a long time in between here. Anyway, we've got Kisikos. They get national citizen happiness, tax income, and then their freeman output is a pretty big nerf. But I think it is balanced by these. These are pretty good nerfs. This is like, it's a rough one, but it's not so rough that it's unplayable. I wouldn't like to have this, because a plus 5% freeman output bonus from an innovation is something that you really do want. But it's not terrible. Like, it's not unplayable. So, then known best for its Kisikanus, the city's gold starter worth 28 drachma, Kisikos was a prospering colony city following the conclusion of the Peloponnesian War and the decline of both Miletus and Athens. The city was also where the philosopher Eudoxus of Cnidos established his school in the 4th century BCE. We have the heritage of Kos, which is the island nation that is a vassal to Egypt at game start. They get national tech investment plus 5%, which is pretty nice, not bad. Slaves for surplus -2 is amazing. National pop capacity -5. It's a painful one. It's not overbearingly painful. Founded by the mythological Autochthonous King Merops, Kos existed throughout ancient history as a place of wealth, learning, and luxury production. Freed from Persia's grip during the Greco-Persian Wars, later only shortly ruled by the Carian satrapy for a while, the island remained largely independent around the Great Aegean Leagues, Alexander's Empire, and the raging Diadochi, gaining a form of oligarch self-rule, even while under the ownership of the Ptolemies, who used it as a place for educating their dynasty. Kos also maintained a recognition for fine wine, a bevy of silk clothes, and the island's famous Asclepion. Alright, we have Commagene, which is the nation between Cappadocia and like Syria. It's like a tiny little nation over there. They get integrated culture happiness plus 6, which is quite nice. Unintegrated culture happiness plus 3, which is also very nice. And a Diplo slot, who cares? Who cares about this? These are really, really good bonuses. Very good bonuses. And that doesn't cancel it out. This is totally playable. The region of Commagene, while its pre-Hellenistic age history is blurry, appears to have a long and continuous footnote in history stretching all the way back to its time as a Syro-Hittite kingdom, referred to in the 15th century BCE as Kumaha. Near identical with the later archaic city of Kumo, thought to be the same city as the Hellenistic Samosata, where the Attic poet Lucian supposedly came from. Existing possibly as a satrap of the Armenian kingdom before being a province under the Seleucids, the area boasts a multicultural demographic, being a melting pot for Hellenic and Iranian cultures, best seen in the royal sanctuary on Mount Nemrut. It's kind of sad, right? Because this is a really nice heritage, but their diplomatic situation at the start of the game makes them a little bit unplayable. If Invictus had a Shattered World start like the multiplayer mods that we've played on the channel, Commagene would be a solid pick. As it stands, this they're still kind of unplayable as a tiny vassal under the Antigonans. I mean, you can totally break free during their explosion, but you're still kind of sandwiched between Egypt, Seleucids, Armenia, Cappadocia. There's not a whole lot of chances to thrive, but hey, if you manage it, some pretty good bonuses. heritage of the Aramaean priest kings Bambicha. This is right close to Commagene. It's the like purpley nation. They get +10 commerce, very nice. National conversion speed, +1, very nice. Governor wages, +5, not enough to cancel it out. Very nice heritage. And I'm pretty sure Bambicha is also Phoenician in culture, or like they're Canaanite. I'm almost certain. But yeah, that's really, really nice. Home to the famous temple for its patron deity Atargatis, Bambicha's history traces back to its annexation by the Assyrian Empire in the 9th century BCE. Coinage suggests it was ruled by Aramaean priest kings near the end of the Achaemenid domination and transitioned to Seleucid monarchical governance following the collapse of Alexander's empire. The city prospered under the yoke of Macedonian and Seleucid rule, becoming the place to stop at between Antioch and Seleucia on the Tigris, eventually becoming the richest city in Roman Syria. Nice. We have Alban Heritage. Is this for Olbia? Is this... I don't... Cilician Kingdom. Oh, Alba, is that the red one on the south coast of Anatolia, perhaps? Anyway, they have mercenary maintenance cost -20, ship capture chance +10, threshold for civil war -2.5. I can see this working. It's very directed. It's definitely very pointed in a direction. Ship capture chance is quite nice. It allows you to get a very large fleet very quickly as you murder a ton of pirates. But if you want to use the pirates, they're a bit cheaper as well. Threshold for Civil War, I mean, it means nothing until it means everything, right? You're either never going to notice it, or it's going to be noticeable at one time and you're going to be screwed. But it's not too terrible. The only independent Cilician kingdom, Alba, was supposedly founded by Ajax, son of Teucer. It became a pirate's haven after the ruling dynasty priests of Cilicia Trachaea fell to chaotic, short-lived tyrants and fell further into disarray after those. These Cilician pirates would later reappear in notable records during the Servile Wars, offering Spartacus a chance to cross from mainland Italy into Sicily before taking his money and leaving him and his army stranded. The bastards. I'm Spartacus. We have Loranda. Not one I'm too familiar with. I think it's probably on the southern Anatolian coast as well. It gets combat efficiency in hills +10%. Really fucking good. Army discipline +5%. It's good. National population growth -0.03% is manageable. This is really good as a heritage. The greatest marauders from eastern Anatolia, the Lycaonians of Loranda. Lycaonians, that's like the same as Spartans, right? They're Lycaonian. They lost much of their glory following the invasions of the Macedonian Empire and the following infighting between the Diadochi rulers. Notably, Perdiccas destroyed the settlement in 322 BCE, after which habitation gradually resumed. Is Loranda one of the Peloponnesian miners? Maybe. But yeah, this is a really good bonus. We have Isauria. They get hostile attrition +3, combat efficiency in mountains +10, and national build cost +5. Not terrible either. Hostile attrition just means that your enemy is going to starve faster, which can be very good. And then combat efficiency in mountains. It's probably not going to be as effective as combat efficiency in hills, because the AI is very careful to never want to fight in the mountains. And you're probably going to crush regardless of whether you have this or not if you're defending in a mountain. But yeah, it's good. It's alright. It's alright. Like, I just don't think it comes up enough, right? Because the AI doesn't like attacking in the mountains. There are marauders and raiders from the hills of the Arasus. These people, staunchly independent, surviving a siege by Perdiccas in 432 by burning down their own capital of Isaura. The fierce mountain people would survive the Lydian, Achaemenid, and Archaeid empires, earning the outset acknowledgement for being the fiercest raiders in southwest Anatolia. We have the Kotennian Heritage. It changes the main culture to Pamphilian. Okay. They have national commerce plus 10. I've already talked about it. It's really good. Oratory provincial investment cost negative 15%. I don't think comes up anymore. I think provincial investments you're generally not going to be spending political influence on. Generally, you're going to be wanting to spend your free provincial investment points on them. I don't see that as a good modifier anymore. And you also have ship build cost plus 10%, which kind of sucks, but it's not massively impactful unless you're booming towards the mid or end game or whatever. Kotennian was the last holdout of the Pamphilian cities against outside rule and maintained a long and proud history, including an aboriginal. I'm not sure that word. I mean, is aboriginal just another word for native? Because, I mean, I know in the Anglosphere we use the term specifically for the natives of Australia, and I don't even think we use it for New Zealand. It is just Australia. But I might be wrong. But anyway, it's a mix of natives and Greeks stemming from the Bronze Age. But as the Antigonid kingdom still occupies their old homeland, they've not been able to do much. The Pamphilians are a maritime culture, a fact which they hold in contention with the Antigonid fleet frequently patrolling their traditional coastline. They're a maritime culture, and their only naval bonus, or modifier, is more expensive ships. If these ships gave you, replace this with ship damage taken negative 5%, totally fine. Because then you'd be like, oh, they're a maritime culture. They take a bit more time and effort with their ships, but in return, they get better ships. But no, it's just, they're a maritime culture, so their ships cost more? I mean, that one didn't feel like it has been thought through very much. We have the Homonandian Heritage. I had no idea where they're from. They have enslavement efficiency, which is very good. Tribes and output, which plus 15%, which is very bad. Citizen happiness, negative 5%, is bad. I don't like this. I'll never play it. Worst of the Pisidians, the Hominidae were barbarous marauders attacking anyone who so dared encroach on their lands. Their raiders seized many slaves from neighboring cities in the region, selling them to the Isaurians and Albians to bolster their markets. Yeah, I don't think I'll ever play them. We have the Selgian Heritage. Should be the most populated city in Pisidia. Okay. Their heritage is population growth, commerce income. I've talked about this. Those are two very good bonuses, especially commerce income. Diplomat -1 is not enough to make this not worth it. That's very good. Recorded by different sources, having been founded by colonists from Laconia. That Laconia is the Spartans. I think I was talking about, or I read above, Laconia, which is something different, I think. Selgae became the most powerful and populous city of Pisidia, in which Alexander the Great himself passed through on his way to Cilicia. The region around the city was exceptionally fertile, and their trade would blossom all the way through the time of Hadrian. Nice. We have the Pednelician Heritage. No idea where Pednelicia is. They get more diplomatic relations, garbage. Combat efficiency in hills is great. Opinion of Overlord, plus 30 is a negative. But hey, taking them as a vassal is great. Like, their heritage is to be ruled. Their heritage literally has that they should be ruled. I don't know, I don't like that. Yeah, no, I don't like that. I don't think your heritage should have, like, you know, we have a history of being subservient and we're real good at it. Like, fuck off, no way. No, that's bad. Small city near the border between the regions of Pisidilia and Pamphylia, Pednelicia was always hard-pressed to compete with large neighbours and the populous Selgae. In order to combat its immediate threats, it had a history of submitting to and calling on larger allies such as the Diadochi. Maybe diplomatic reputation? But, like, you're just basically killing that as something to play. Like, no player wants to be a vassal. No player with balls wants to be a vassal. No. Yeah, no one wants to be a vassal, especially in single player. It's just... so you're... I guess it's not a negative then, as soon as you're not a vassal, but getting +2 diplomatic regulations is like... Getting +2 diplomatic relations means that you're better off having vassals, like you can make vassals of your own. So your heritage both has you as a good vassal and a good overlord. I don't know, it's very bipolar. We have the Astaken Heritage. Integrated culture group happiness +6 is very good. Road building cost -30 is kind of useless, not gonna lie. Because you can build roads for like 5 ducats with just having 1 engineer and 9 light infantry. It's not something that 30% is gonna make a huge difference. What, you're gonna save a ducat per road? Yay. The old, oh yeah, and also fort maintenance cost +10% is kind of painful, not gonna lie. Don't like that. The older city in Pisidia, Saglassos, has maintained a key historical and geographic role since the time of the Hittites as a major center of Arzawa. Whether the first city of Pisidia, they're no longer the most important one. In recent centuries, Selgae has overtaken them in power and population to the point where they're forced to submit under the yoke of the Antigonids. Sucks for them. We have the heritage of the Lycians. Ship recruitment speed +15%, character wages -10%, and unintegrated culture group happiness -3%. As a heritage, it's kind of all over the place. Making character wages -10%, that's really good. That's very, very nice. Unintegrated culture group happiness is relatively painful, especially in Invictus, where foreign cultures are... They assimilate and convert slower if they're not happy. So it's just making it last longer. 3% is kind of minor, but yeah, it's I don't know. I'm not a big fan of having negative happiness things. Very old people in ancient times, known as the Lucca, the Lycians have almost always been united since the invasion of Cyrus the Great, having become an Achaemenid client kingdom. They joined the Delian League after Plataea holding on to their independence for 40 years, after which they became clients once again. Lycia managed to survive Alexander's invasion without significant effect on the people, yet their league found itself submitting as an Antigonid vassal following the breakout of the Diadochi Wars. We have the heritage of the Solmian. How many of these bloody heritages have we got? Oh my god. Oh my Jesus God. Fuck. That's so many. I'm sorry, I'm skipping these. I'm not reading out that many. That's too many. This video has to stay under a certain length. If you want to read them, feel free. I'm not going... Yeah, no. We're going to the unit preview. Alright. Parsible is here with some more content regarding units alongside a preview and more. The currently ongoing vote is decided to close, but still ongoing. Do we have the vote link somewhere? I think I'm gonna have to find that. I will find that. I will certainly be doing the finding of that in a moment. But I couldn't idle all the time. I decided to take matters into my own hands and present you an early preview of Chariots. Yeah, Chariots getting removed. That's something that I'm very, very happy about. So, he meant the brand new unit, the Spearman. Yeah, Spearman's probably the best name for it. But yeah, before we move on though, I do want to check out what the vote is currently like. So we'll pop that in there, and we will view the result. At the moment, 74% of people have put... Well, it's not a vote like that, but you know, you shuffle them around where you want. So at the moment, the winning vote at the moment is splitting the unit into swordsman and spearman by replacing another unit type. In second is balancing unit modifiers. And then in third is make them a defensive unit with little offensive capabilities. This is for what to do with heavy infantry. But yeah, at the moment, 74% is on that. You could do a bunch of different counts. I don't know. Whatever. At the moment, that one's winning. That's good for me, at least. That's the one I like. So, a stunning icon, maintaining the vanilla-esque feeling while being visually distinctive from both heavy infantry and light infantry as well. I would agree with that. The fact that it's green helps a lot, because obviously heavy infantry is red, and light infantry is like that pale browny beigey color. So the green certainly helps to be distinctive. You may see I labeled them as hoplite, but worry not. Most cultures will receive a name overhaul, which is currently on part of his own mod already. Just never got around to integrating names. Okay. According to the poll and my video, hey, I got a shout out. The world is split into chariotophiles and chariotophobes. I mean, if you're a chariotophile, you're a fool. Which means we may either satisfy one part of the community while neglecting another part. You'll investigate potential possibilities of keeping chariots intact, why bother, while also introducing spearmen. No real promises though. Unit modding is somewhat finicky, just get rid of chariots, they're garbage. Let's get into a very preliminary balance discussion. Obviously, having a split unit will require another balance pass on every unit. To summarize, units need an efficiency against other units and vice versa as well. Give you a basic rundown, try to set up the spearman efficiency versus other units. So, spearmen are slightly weaker against light infantry, very much weaker against heavy infantry, even against other spearmen, weak against archers, very good against all kinds of cavalry, except horse archers. They're good against them with an asterisk. We'll have a look at that in a moment. Negative against war elephants and very good against camels. So for horse archers versus spearmen, however, might have increased efficiency. I envisioned it as, what if the horse archers touch the spearmen in this matchup? I would say probably that should be a negative. I think it should be maybe a negative 15% for that. Yeah, I would say that. Negative 15%. I don't think heavy infantry should be as good as archers here. And I know the immediate, very immediate point of call would be, oh, but the Romans, their heavy infantry, their legions with their gladius, managed to beat the Macedonian phalanx at the Battle of... forgot the name of it. Is it Plataea? I don't think it's Plataea. But they managed to beat them because heavy infantry, blah, 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 blah. But it's really not the case that the Romans managed to beat them because heavy infantry are better than the pikes. They managed to beat them because of the terrain and the fact that they managed to get around the flanks. So I think the way you would probably balance this, or at least I would balance this, is not have heavy infantry be that much better. Right, 25% on par with archers. Archers should be the counter to spearmen. They really should. Because, especially if it's like the Greek phalanx, their shields were very small, and, you know, missiles were the way to get rid of them. That was the, you know, that was their weakness, I guess. Heavy infantry, they should just get a bonus in hills against spearmen, or have the various different tactics be more impactful on the unit types. But I would say spearmen should get a hefty negative in hills. But on plains, spearmen should fucking destroy heavy infantry. Like, if you're fighting on plains, spearmen should be wrecking everything, light infantry, heavy infantry, except archers, right? Archers should be like their only counter. Yeah. These values should be heavily favor spearmen against any type of cavalry while making them suffer against most other types of infantry and ranged units. Again, this little setup is missing the other end of the matchup. This is the issue, and I honestly think maybe this problem goes back to like Age of Empires 1, right? Where they have their kind of rock paper scissors thing, and they had spearmen lose to swordsmen. And I'm sorry, that's just not the fucking case. If you have a duel or 1v1, a spear shits on a sword. If you have a battle where there is a line of spearmen versus a line of swordsmen, those spearmen are going to kill all of those swordsmen. It is simply not the case that the sword is a better weapon than the spear in battle. It just ain't the case. It just simply is not the case. Spears have been, more than any other weapon in human history, the, let's say, emblematic weapon of humans from fucking prehistory, where we're hunting with a rock tied to the end of a stick, all the way up until, like, hell, I'd even say, like, the Second World War, because, you know, a bayonet is basically a fucking spear. Spears should not be... They deserve better than this. Spears are the weapon. The dominant weapon of the period. Until the Roman until the Roman army came and, like, changed warfare with heavy shields and such, and maneuverability, which was, like... Maneuverability is why the Romans beat the phalanx. End of story. It was maneuverability. Like, maneuverability is the weakness of the phalanx. But it's also, like, if you've just got a fucking plane and you can't get around the flanks, maybe because the spearmen have, like, they should maybe take extra damage from being flanked, if that's possible. But just having them be that worse than heavy infantry as a base, and especially light infantry, I think is bad and ahistorical as fuck. It just ain't the case. Heavy infantry have also had their values changed. They're very good against light infantry. They're good against spearmen. They shouldn't be. They're good against archers. I disagree with that. Yeah, I disagree with that. They're weak versus light cavalry and heavy cavalry. Very weak against horse archers, weak against war elephants, weak against camels. So heavy infantry have got a severe nerf. They're only good against people on foot now. Okay. Yeah, I don't really agree with the direction of these, if I'm being honest. Alright, so that's enough teasing from that. Back into the testing labs he goes. Okay. Hope to have an actual testable version ready with the coming week so I can present you with some battles and more stuff ready to be shown off. Lovely. I look forward to having a look at that. And I may go and have a chat with... It's Parsible, right? Yeah, Parsible. I may go and have a chat with him in the Imperator Invictus Discord, which you can also do, because in the description below there is a link to the Imperator Invictus Discord. You can join there, chat with the devs, give your suggestions, give your feedback, and it's probably something that you should do. But that's what I'm going to do. That's the end of the video, though. It's been a pretty long one, and I skipped so much because I just can't go over all of these. There's too many. But hopefully you have more time than me and you can enjoy the various things that are there. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this this video talking about Bharat of Varsha and heritages and also the unit update, which is looking very spicy indeed, if a little imbalanced in my opinion. But yeah, thanks all for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.